BAYADA has grown from its humble beginnings to become a national leader in home health care, serving clients in 25 states from more than 250 offices. A big, warm welcome for Mark Baiada.
Good. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm honored that you would have me come. I think I'm going to weave a little bit of telling the history of the company with Judaism, because in various ways it's had a very positive effect on me and the development of the company. So I figure this is what better audience do that than the group here today, right? So I guess that where we are today is I have a annual firm with providing services throughout 22 states and 5 countries, providing $1.4 billion of annual revenue to people in on-home care. And I'm going to give it away. I'm going to turn it into a nonprofit. What? Yeah. This one? This one isn't working either. Mm-hmm. Turn this one on?
Well, no, now. It's working. Oh, here.
Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Whew, there we go. So a little too loud now. So we have, we're around the country. We have 25,000 employees. We serve hundreds of thousands of people every year, from long-term care to short-term care. And I built this up since 1975, and I'm about to give it away. And you may, I'll tell you why, right? Because that's am I crazy, right? Am I crazy, right? A little bit crazy. So I'll go back to my roots a little bit, so I'll tell you the story how I got from there to here. So I went to Catholic school. I never knew any Jewish kids, right? That's the starting point, right? Yeah, close enough, right? So I do now, so thank goodness. And but when I was young, the whole religious experience, what he's talking about, serving others, honoring God, I did get that, and I wanted to be a priest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then I turned like 8th grade, and I discovered girls, and I said, I don't think so, right? So which is pretty poignant considering on today's headlines about the priests in Pennsylvania. It's terrible, isn't it? Yeah. So in my family, my grandfather came over from Sicily. He was the barber in Riverside, New Jersey. His brother was the barber in Palmyra. So they were, as I say, they started me in the personal services business. And my aunts were beauticians. Though my father was the son, they sent him to college. So but they had this immigrant spirit. So they were entrepreneurs. We had some other entrepreneurs in the family that had various small businesses. So I had that idea of small business mentality when I grew up. So I think I kind of decided that, say maybe I want to have my own business one day. I mean, it seemed like but I wasn't even thinking about the mission of it or anything. I think I have my own business one day. So I went to St. Peter's Grade School in Riverside, New Jersey, Holy Cross High School in Delran, New Jersey. I was a great student in grade school. I was average in high school because I was trying to be cool. I didn't even get to be too cool. And then my father was in the Navy for 21 years. So then he got out. He had 6 kids, 6 sons. I'm the oldest of 6 sons. A wife and my Italian grandmother, illiterate Italian grandmother, lived with us too. And he decides to go into the insurance business. There's some insurance people here, right? It takes a while to build your book. That's right. He was doing personal lines. And so we didn't have any money for a while. So that probably also encouraged me, hey, I better get my own business. I don't want to be poor the rest of my life. So I graduated from Rutgers in Camden in 1965. And I went to, Holy Cross High School in 1965, and went to Rutgers in Camden because it was inexpensive and close and a decent school. I think it was $200 a semester, and I got a state scholarship, so because I had high SATs, so I got half price. That was a good experience. So I'm kind of now joined the fraternity, became the social chairman, played on the soccer team, and we had such a terrible team I could play. Right? This was before soccer became popular. And then my growing up, I always was hustling. I had 2 different paper routes. I shoveled snow, mowed lawns. I even one time, my brothers and I went to the local Acme, and we hustled ladies to put their bags in their car for tips, right? So I was learning to work it a little bit, and my father was a salesperson, and I saw how he was struggling, how he got to be good at sales, because he had to put food on the table, and he really didn't get to be successful until he was down to the wire, like it was do or die. That's when he realized sometimes it's easy. You don't do what you have to do until you don't have any choice anymore. So he got down to the wire, but he turned out to be a great salesperson. He'd go 5 nights a week. He'd go 5 for 5. That hit me as being pretty cool and hard to do. So I was a business major. I had jobs in college. And then I graduated. Then junior year, my parents came, guess what? We have a little more money. You can go away to college. Great. I went to Rutgers in New Brunswick. It was a big swing, but I still came home on weekends. Imagine that. So then I graduated in 1969. And this is the Vietnam War is going crazy. So I was going to be drafted, but you lose your deferment. Anybody here old enough who knows you had a deferment then. You lose your deferment, you're gone. But Rutgers had a program where you get advanced standing for your business courses at the graduate school in Newark. So I had they gave me 27 out of 60 credits. So I went right that summer and that fall, and I got my MBA in Newark. That was a good experience too. Then I ended up joining the National Guard so I could continue my business career and also work. And satisfy my military obligation. So, but I got a job before I went away, and I got a job in marketing research. I'm kind of research and analytically oriented. I like to get all the facts in a decision. I'm not like a quick decision maker unless I'm under pressure. So, a small American thread, they made sewing thread for mostly manufacturers, and I was in the consumer products group. And they were booming. This is the craft movement. This is like the hippie time. Don't trust anybody over 30. And all the young women were sewing, and so the threads in the yarn sales were going through the roof, and they didn't know why. So they hired me to figure it out. Like, what do I know, right? But that was a good experience. And I went away to active duty. How many people have here been active duty? Anybody here been active duty in the military at all? Wow. It's amazing. I just had addressed a new group of 50 BAYADA employees, and nobody in active duty there either. I mean, my age, a lot of people went to active duty because. Anyway, it's a pretty tough thing. It's like I didn't play football, but it's like football on the worst day. I think they scream at you. They take all your clothes, even your underwear and socks, and give you all new stuff. Shave your head, and they're constantly yelling at you. And the slightest little infraction you have to do. Push-ups, they run you to death, or you have to crawl in a low crawl pit like it was sawdust, and it was until you're exhausted. It was kind of trying to get you in shape and meld you into listening to commands. And they did have a crazy group of people. I had my master's degree, and then we had high school dropouts from the mountains of Tennessee that were they weren't really fully literate. So they're trying to get them all to work together. So it was kind of crazy. But I had time to think. Because when you're in the circuit, they're taxing your body, but they're not really taxing your mind. You have a lot of free time on your hands. So, hey, Mark, what do you want to do with your life? I have meetings with myself. So I was having a meeting. Mark, what do you want to do with your life? Wow, I think I want to have a business one day. Yeah, what kind? Hey, I want to go big. Yep, I got to go coast to coast. Why not? Right? Let's think big here. Why not? Cool. Well, Mark, how you doing? Do you have any money? No, I have college debt. Well, you better get a program of saving everything you can, because there's nobody rich in the family, and you got to finance this on your own. 2, how do you feel about your business competence, your ability to start a business? Not that good. I'm a son of immigrants from South Jersey. I don't have any connections, no money, and I thought people in big companies knew everything. But it wasn't like I was afraid of it, or I'll figure it out. I'm smart. I'll study it. I'll just catch up and get all and learn about this stuff and get all the competence I need. So I did have a belief that I was able to figure it out and make it happen. I had that belief I would figure it out and make it happen no matter what the obstacles. So yeah, they got a head start on me, so what? I'll work harder, I'll work smarter, I'll get there. So I came back all enthused, and I said, I figured it'd take me 5 years to save some money, nest egg up, and get the knowledge. So I came back and I I wouldn't go to McDonald's. I was really cheap. I wouldn't, because I wanted to save everything. And I took business courses. I read business magazines. And like in all the business magazines, they used to have those little, those little things in magazines, the little cards that come out that are annoying. They used to have one before the internet. It was for like an investor relations service. You have all the covers of the annual reports, and you'd circle the ones you wanted to get. I'd circle most of them. So I'm getting like, because the annual reports, the accounting is the language of business. And plus they have the 10-year history, report from the president and the chairman, a little business profile, the footnotes. So I'm like, they're coming to my place, and I'm just going crazy reading them all to understand how business ticked on a long-term basis. And I was marketing oriented because that was my undergraduate major. What product or services is this company providing that the world's willing to pay for on an ongoing business that's profitable, right? Pretty basic. So then I was working in Connecticut, living in a $75 a month apartment. I was really cheap, driving a Volkswagen. And I got a call from a headhunter to work in New York in Manhattan for Avon. Did my research, cool, international company, well respected, growing steadily, domestically and internationally. And so I went into that marketing research department. It was like one of 15 people. So I was kind of went from a much bigger environment, but I'm in Manhattan now. And so I was working on various studies there of different types. And that was a good experience too. It kind of broadened me a little bit. So the next meeting I had, I'll tell you about, I was Easter Sunday, 1974. I'm sitting in my apartment, 5th floor walk up, because it was so cheap. You know, you get up that high, they don't charge you as much. And 5th floor walk up, and I said, all right, Mark, let's review how you do on your plan. So, okay, how much money do you have? 16,000. It would be about 50,000 in today's, with the price inflator because of inflation, about 50,000. How do you feel about your business knowledge, your business competence? I said, I think I can see how this works. I've been looking at a lot of businesses. I kind of see how they work. I have a perspective. I'm feeling a little more confident now. I said, I guess it's time to like pick what I'm going to do. Sometimes it's easier to prepare, right? It's easier to prepare than it is to actually do. So I said, okay, well, I'm in marketing research. If I want to pick a business, I better have criteria. I just don't want to go willy-nilly the first thing that grabs me that comes along, you know, that I may make a mistake. So my criteria, I went and thought about it, and I said my criteria, first of all, I want to do something helping other people. I want to make a difference in the world. I figure there must be a business in that, narrow it down to that. I can remember thinking to myself, you could give me a casino or a liquor company, I really don't want it. Not that I don't drink or would go to a casino occasionally, it's just I don't want to make my life's work, right? So I said I want to do something meaningful, okay? The second was, I want something I can get into for $16,000. That's about all I have to work with, and I'm going to have to make it work around that. So, 3, I want something that's a reproducible model coast to coast. I want to see it. I want to see here in LA. I have to see it in my mind's eye. And the next one was probably the best one for why I'm here today, is that I want to see that the demand for the service will grow slowly but surely on a long-term basis. The amount of money spent on the service in a generation. So like you wouldn't go into newspapers, you know, there's even television is very cyclical. I want steady, long-term, something you can build on and count on. So I said, all right, I'll look at a business a month. So I started looking at different businesses. I looked at early childhood education, car painting of all things. And I finally came, and I was studying the New York Times every Wednesday and Sunday. They had I'm living in Manhattan. They have the business opportunity section. So I was looking at franchises and all types of things, and saw a home health care franchise called Quality Care. And all these companies, these home health companies, got started, like the home insteads and the senior care. They were a whole wave that came first in the mid-'70s out of Long Island, Nassau County, all Jewish owned. They're all Jewish owned and doing pretty well. So they were selling franchises around the country, so I went and talked to them. And I saw the business model, and it was only personal care and support services. We do mostly skilled services now. We do personal care right also. So it was really like early home instead, right? But they morphed into other things, yeah. So she's from home instead, so that's why I'm, yeah. Giving her a plug there. Yeah, there we go. So I talked to 3 different franchisors, or 4, including Medical Pool, which is now interim. Roy Detman, the founder, wanted to sell me Nassau County because he didn't want his brother-in-law to have it, and his brother-in-law apparently owned the American. There was a steakhouse right at Walnut and Juniper and Walnut, I think, called American Eagle. Remember everybody that? He owned that, and he wanted to get this franchise in New York. And this Roy was dying to get it out of there, so he didn't have to deal with his brother-in-law. Or Birmingham. So I went through all this, and I went did some study. First of all, I didn't want a franchise. I didn't think, because then I could go coast to coast and have a franchise. That kind of restricts you. But it was helping others. That was apparent. My Italian grandmother lived with me who had needs, and I could see her needs, and others like her. I could relate to helping a senior who needed help. 2, it's a low cost of entry. That's why there's so many competitors, right? You need at that time a desk and a phone. Start putting some ads, calling on the hospitals or other places, attend events, and you can start getting some referrals. The franchises were coast to coast, and they're all doing 500, 1,000, 2,000 hours a week. That's kind of a gauge how much service you're doing. They were growing. Then I went to the library, and I looked at, what's my proxy for a long-term need here? Number of elderly, I thought. That's pretty much true. So the number of elderly, the population projections are based on birth rates and mortality rates. But right now, everybody who's going to be 65 and 65 is already born. They were born already. So death rates or mortality tables are very stable, except for war or epidemic, and I couldn't plan on that. So I said, it's slow but sure growth in the number of elderly, and right now the boomers are coming in. So even if we go a little bit faster, I'm a boomer, right? So it's growing a little bit faster. Add into that the sociological changes of women entering the workforce. So the percentage of women in the workforce increases. So who's going to take care of their mom? They're the primary ones doing it. And sometimes if she'll not even live in the same town, right? So or the same state. So there's going to need some professional care. The other thing is you look at the general rise in the economy, the per capita income. If the rule of 72s, anybody knows the rule of 72s, it grows 2% a year, right? 36 years is double, goes 3%. 24 years is double. That means there's more disposable income to pay for this type of care, right? And then there's a little bit more government payments coming in, which it's really increased since the Medicaid program is increased more than they're paying for in home care than they did in 75. So a lot of things are in line. So I go, whoa, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do it. So I'm living in Manhattan. Gulp. I said, that was too big. Manhattan's big, and I didn't really understand it. Could go back to South Jersey, where I came from. Well, anybody from Philly, when you used to go to the shore, you were going through the sticks, right? And it wasn't as populated as it is now. It wasn't as populated as it is now. So I came to Philadelphia, and I rented 1426 Walnut, which they just turned to a cheesesteak factory, right? Second floor. I sublet an office from a medical practice, 2 little rooms, $125 a month. Good location though, because I could go, the Broad Street, all the Broad and the Market lines all came there, so it was good for recruiting, which was really key. So I had a big blind, huge blind spot though, huge blind going into this business. I understood it. I understood the model, understood the numbers and everything. I had one number I got for anybody who's in finance. I'll tell you about that first. But so I had never hired anybody, fired anybody, counseled anybody, and I'm going into the people business, the personnel business. And when you're young and naive and you think you're taking care of somebody, you think everybody sees the world like you do. Of course they're going to be, as our 3 values, they're going to have a big heart. Of course, they have a big heart, they're going to get to the house and they're going to do really good work because they're and they're going to show up, right? Lo and behold, that I have a rude awakening that not everybody saw things like I did. And so my first full-time employee was Marty, She had just graduated as a psychology major from the Muhlenberg. She was greener than I was. But we did hire Bev Altman, who was a nurse, who daughters were in high school and she wanted to work part-time. So that worked. So we had a little maturity in our group. But we just started working. I remember recruiting like crazy, recruiting aides. We're very careful who we hired, lots of experience. And we're really committed. A couple of things we did early that were really committed. One, when the clients called, I made a promise. I make a promise to provide the care. And if something went wrong, I'm like a fireman when the fire goes off. I'm going to take care of it. I'm not going to let, and it happens because you're dealing with a lot of people that aren't going to go to work or there's a problem. Usually reliability is the single biggest problem because usually they were nice people, they had good skills, you can check on that. Attendance can kind of be a real bugger sometimes. Oh, I would drive people to work, pay anything I had to. And the good news is I work really good under pressure. I think I'm an adrenaline. I'm like, bam, catches my attention. I'm going to make sure that things are properly taken care of. Yeah, we would go for not missing a shift, which is tough for, when I was in Philadelphia, a woman that started with me, who's our chief operating officer, knows that she was there 5 years and never missed a shift in her caseload, which is hard to do. We were crazy about making sure that clients got the care they needed. And we met our duties and obligations. It was more of a sense of, it was good business, but it's all just a sense of duty. I can't let anybody down. I make a promise, I can't let anybody down. They're depending on me. So that was one. Then I was dealing mostly with AIDS. I didn't realize AIDS, nurses complain they don't get any respect. AIDS, take it for granted sometimes. So I like everybody and I see the good in everybody, and my wife says I'm gullible. Right? But I see the good in everybody. And so I like the aides. I get a thankful gratitude for them for taking care of our clients. And it's hard. Bad weather, grumpy clients. It can be hard sometimes. But there were a lot of really good people. So I showed respect and I got to know them, took care, watched out for them and made sure I treated them properly, which hopefully one of our hallmarks today too is if we have to make sure that we take really good care of our nurses, aides, and therapists, because I'm not in the home they are, and we want to make sure we have really super people going out. So, two, hard work. I tell you, hard work cures a lot of ills. You get there early, you work late, you work hard, you work fast. That takes care of a lot of problems in business. And the other was being dead honest. So being dead honest. I remember. I was pretty naive about business and anybody like doing sharp corners or anything. I remember the guy walked in, we had taken care of his wife for 2 weeks post-op. Very nice guy, and people don't come to the office that much in home care. But he shows up to pay the bill in cash, $400. And 75, that was like thousands, a couple thousands now, right? So, and he paid me in cash. I go, whoa, I've never seen this much cash in my hand, right? So, and all of a sudden I realized what left pocket money is. Right? Is put it in your left pocket and you write it off as a receivable that was never paid. Yeah, my accountant deals with a lot of pizza shops in there, Everything doesn't hit the books, right? But I said, I'm going to pay I want to be honest. I want to pay every tax that I'm supposed to. I don't want to take any of our clients or employees' money. I'm going to be dead honest. Plus you can't, even practically speaking, you can't do it in scale unless you're starting to cut corners and kind of get a little here and a little there that you're not entitled to. So being dead honest. So I'm getting going. So we're picking up business. We got a contract with the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging for cases. That was 77. So I had we called them a coordinator. That time they were staff supervisors. And she was married to Peter. And Peter, this is the Jewish story. So Peter had a real estate agent with his name in Society Hill. Peter, and it wasn't a Jewish sounding name he had. I forget what it is. So I knew them, went to dinner with them a couple times, and he said, then his wife told me one day, he says, Peter says, you're a really nice guy, but it's kind of a goyim operation. Which I took as, nice guy who can't rub 2 cents together and he's not going to make anything. Ooh, that got me, and plus all the Jewish competitors in New York, that got me going. And then on the other hand, it got me going, the nonprofit visiting nurse services called me a proprietary. That means I was in this for the wrong reasons, right? My heart wasn't where it should be. Therefore, I was just doing this for the money. that got me going too. So I got the end. I got the Jewish guy saying, you're never going to make any money. And I got the V&A saying, oh, you're just a money grubber. Jeez. Right? But my response to all this is I'm just going to be hardworking, do the right thing, take really good care of people, and it should come out in the end okay. Which it did. It did. But it was a lot of hard work. But the Jewish business spirit, I tuned into that right then and said, that's good. That's good. I need that. But I tuned into the spirit of mission and helping other people. That's good too. And I think the unusual part of Baiada is we do both. We're putting them together, and it makes good business. But a lot of people don't get it. Young people, oh, they want to make a lot of money. They think that you have to be kind of like nasty and go to Wall Street or New York real estate. That's tough. Or people that are going to go nonprofit, you can't really worry about money. That's kind of dirty or something. So no, we do both. We're here together. The world needs great service. We want to do great service, and that's usually good business. But a lot of people don't get that dichotomy between the two, that we try to merge together into one strong hybrid. So we started growing. Didn't have the second office for 5 years because I didn't, tell you the truth, I didn't trust anybody. How do I know if I have another location, the person there is going to make sure the clients are well taken care of, the employees are treated properly, they're not cheating in any way, they're honest people like me. So we finally got Kathy Capel was working with me. She wanted to move to Florida because her sister and her parents are in Tampa. So we started an office there in '78. And we had a pattern then of sending people that were in an office to another office. I didn't realize I was spreading a culture. I was spreading a culture because we didn't have anything written down. It's all word of mouth. We just did it. We worked hard, took good care of people, but I didn't have it codified in any way. So that worked for quite a long time. And so we're in the 80s. We started going into skilled nursing care. First we went into nurses for spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury. Then we went into pediatrics. Then the Medicare program, which is a whole separate type where it's the visiting nurses coming in. Now we're into hospice and others. So we started going to these different specialties all around home care. So we're going more specialties, and we're going to more locations, generally transferring somebody who wants a career opportunity. So we are growing, and then I think I started to realize, wow, unless I kind of set the goal down and write this down and get people joining for the right reason, this could fizzle out just because it loses the proper spirit. It could be all just about administration and money, like so many American companies are now. So I didn't know how to really put this together. But I found Dr. Al Friedman, another a little more Judaism in my life, who is a clinical psychologist who we were taking care of his son Jack with spinal muscular atrophy. And I heard him talk. He was doing in-service for our nurses, and I figured he gets the spirit of this. He really gets the spirit of this. So I asked him to help me. And so, and we both had, I'm Catholic, he's Jewish, but we both had a relation in Quakerism, because my kids went to a friend's school, and he taught at a friend's school. And he was the psychologist at Westtown Friends for a while. So we had a little bit of a mix of Judeo-Christian ethic mixed with a little Quakerism in there. So because we did approach it from some of it a spiritual point of view, Although we want to be non-sectarian because we want to be of service to all. We're diversity is service to everyone, right? And everyone working with us too. So we finally got down and we wrote it down, and it became. First of all, we'll write this ourselves. I'll represent the caregivers, and Al will represent the parents or the recipients, and we'll write down what we stand for. And we said, wow, this is bigger than us. So we proceeded to have many focus groups among the same people, like parents of pediatric clients, pediatric nurses, seniors' daughters, right? Usually they're the ones, sometimes the sons, but mostly the daughters, aides, office staff. And then we had overnight retreats. And finally, it took about 3 years, and we finally came up with this document. We did a survey of every client and every employee, too. And what are the values? that guide us on a long-term basis. And there was a book by a Dr. Michael O'Connor that said values should rule a company, not a person. So kind of a religious point of view. And so it would be that if you see an organization chart, like I'm the chairman at the top, I'm not really the top. The values are above me, and I have to honor them and live to them every day. Live to them every day. So that's what we came here. So our 3 values that we came up with after a lot of discussion are compassion, which is your heart has to be in the right, you have to care about people. And nurses normally, it's a good thing. Nurses go into the field because they want to help other people. They're kind of naturally there. So, and we're trying to honor that spirit and actually encourage it more so. And so that's where we start. You have to want to help another person, kind of for yourself, and be there for another person at all times. 2, because you want excellence. You're going to do a good job. You can't not take on a job that you can't do well, right? And 3, reliability, which is like our special for home care, because it's the one-on-one nature of the work. You show up every day. You know, you make a commitment, you keep it. You make a commitment, you keep it. So we wrote that down. Then we had the mission. I'm giving you a abridged version of all of this. We have a special purpose: help people have a safe home life with comfort, independence, and dignity. We're here to help people be home. They usually want to be there, and so we're just trying to make that a choice in their life when they need it. I say nobody ever really wants a Baiada nurse, and I really don't want to send you one. But if you need it, I want to have a great one available as part of a team. The vision was a little more me. I have to say a little more me, but everybody said, why not? So the vision was, with a strong commitment from each of us, Baiada Home Healthcare will make it possible for millions of people worldwide to experience it better. Millions of people worldwide. Ta-da. That's why we're in foreign countries. And we're kind of just getting going. I figure, boy, I'm 70. If I don't get international going, who will? So we've got little embryos all around the place. And the next is we want to leave a lasting legacy, which means we'll be here in 100 years. And the third is we want to be the world's most compassionate and trusted team of home healthcare professionals. Would I want to be anything less than somebody's going to trust? So, but everybody agreed with it. And then our beliefs were our clients come first, which it's easy to say, but a lot of people say that, but they don't necessarily follow it. But also our employees are our greatest asset, which is really important for us because I don't go into the home often. You know, sometimes I do, but the nurses and the aides, so I have to recruit them, align them with this, make sure they have all the training and the support so they can deliver care according to this when they reach the home. So, and also working together are critical to our success of community, compassionate caregivers, because now it takes a team. We have people doing all kinds of different things. And sometimes there's a nurse in a case, there's an aide, there may be a therapist, we have to deal with insurance company, which is terrible. And so we kind of work as a care team now, and specialists in different areas. So this has been pretty. We talk about this all the time. From new employee orientation, we recruit using this, and so it's really a value-based, organization. And nurses they go, sure, I'm there. Because they love the work. Anybody doing home, they like the one-on-one. Hospitals are tough for nurses now. They're task-oriented. They don't work the same floor. The length of stays are short. They have hard time forming any relationships with their patients, as that's why they went into the field. Home care is better. You're there a little more time, and it's one-on-one. So they actually get meaning from it. We just have to get their pay up because the reimbursement's so low. We don't get reimbursement. We're now 92% third party. I started 100% private pay. Now we're 92% third party between Medicare, Medicaid, or Medicaid paid managed care organizations or commercial insurance. So, we're kind of like the run at the litter when it comes to fighting for wages for our staff. But we're working on it. We'll figure this out sooner or later. So then now, moving forward, we're growing. The history of Baiada is the magic of compounding. 15% a year, you're doubling every 5 years. You keep that going from nothing for 42 years, you're 1.4 billion, right? And the other reason I don't want to grow too fast was you can't in services, you really can't manage it. You can't. You have to grow at a certain pace. But also, if you keep the pace steadily, you can plan for it. It gives everybody opportunities. There's always a certain vibrancy to open new locations and growing. So we can. It'll keep us sustain the organization on a common pattern for generations, I hope. So we're at 355 offices now, U.S., and our next goal would be 1,000. But we're not doing offices just for offices' sake. We're just doing. I want to be able to go to communities and offer families somebody that's following this in a superior care in the home. So the next thing is, a few years ago, I go, well, Mark, you're getting a little bit older. What are you going to do with the business? Right? What are you going to do with the business? I could flip it, right? Go public, sell it out. My God, the multiples are like through the roof now for the public companies. I could sell for more than revenue. It's nuts out there. But I can now that's going to undermine this, wouldn't it? All they're going to do is somebody's buying it, private equity or stock. You buy stock because it's going to go up in value. Mission's nice, but people are buying it for growth, right? Financial growth. So it kind of would undermine the missions right off the bat. Private equity too. They just want to flip the thing, right? They cut the staff, flip it. So a lot of our competitors now are private equity backed. I could give it to my kids, right? Kind of normal. And my son's the president. I have a daughter as the chief compliance officer. The other is the head of our BAYADA Way team. They would do okay. But if you go through the life cycle of business on a long-term basis, probably their children or my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, it'll fall apart. There'll be discord, conflict, incompetence, greed, disinterest. It'll gradually. They won't be all in on this. They won't be all in this. So if after a long conversation, also my kids too, because I'm really taking their inheritance, and but they're engaged and want to be part of this too. We decide to go nonprofit. So it's kind of like a mitzvah. Yeah. Big mitzvah. Yeah, I don't need the money. Yeah, I don't need the money. So, but on the other hand, I have to have a profitable business, right? Because I wouldn't have any. You won't have a business. It won't survive unless it's profitable, right? So so we have to make sure that it's a healthy, thriving organization that has a surplus to be able to support its growth and development. We're not here just to maximize earnings. We're here to create earnings. So a little bit. You don't need big margins here. Enough to just kind of keep it going on a long-term basis. So I decided to do it. I didn't realize I have to pay taxes. Anybody's an accountant here, we're subchapter S, cash-paying taxpayers. That means I have to. Oh my God, I have to pay a ton of taxes just to give it away. So, but we're in the process. We figured out a way to minimize the Middle East. I don't want to. I'm honest. I'll pay the taxes, but I'm not going to pay more than I should, right? And that would be stupid. So it looks like the first day of we set up a nonprofit in Delaware, BAYADA, a 7-person board. I'm on the board, but it's independence primarily, so it's not. They don't control it anymore. And and we're not donating the company now. We're actually converting it so we can keep the same EIN number to a nonprofit, so that we don't have to go through all the regulatory change, because you have to reapply for every Medicare, Medicaid state license if you change the EIN number. So that saves a lot of. We're figuring it was going to be like $25,000 an office just to change that. So so it'll be the first 19 barring. Every state has to agree to the conversion, and we got a little slowdown with New York. They put a moratorium on change. So and a few others. So as long as New York, Connecticut, and Vermont are okay, the other 19 are good so far. We'll change then. They may slow us up a little bit. So the goals for the future for the company, well, they're certainly long term. I'm thinking 100 years, right? Millions of people worldwide, lasting legacy. It'll make it to then, but more importantly, for people needing care, will be the world's most compassionate, trusted team of home healthcare professionals. So that gives me some. I'm actually more excited and hopeful. I think when I first started, I was just plain scared. Right? Oh my God, is this going to make it? Am I going to be just another failed business? And right now, optimistic that we'll be able to attract hopefully the younger people too, who want to work hard and carry this forward. So that's kind of the Baiada story from my youth to now, but hopefully thinking forward to 100 years from now. Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure, and thank you.